A crisp white napkin fluttered as it hit the table. The noise was faint but jarring in the silence of the luxury restaurant. Ibrahim Traoré, dressed in a humble yet meticulously tailored suit, looked up from his glass of water. His eyes, once filled with the fire of revolution, now carried a different weight, one that seemed to search for something beyond food or company. Before him, a waiter stood, nervously fumbling with the menu. "Is there a problem, sir?" the waiter asked, his tone teetering on the edge of disdain. "You would have to ask the chef," Ibrahim replied softly, his voice carrying the weight of a million unsaid words. The waiter, assuming a chance to mock the quiet, solitary figure, sneered. "You people think you can just buy places like this," he muttered under his breath, unaware of the life-altering twist he was about to trigger. Introduction and setup. It was an elegant evening in Paris. The restaurant, a luxurious, multi-floor establishment overlooking the Seine, gleamed under the golden glow of chandeliers. The smell of fresh truffles, rich sauces, and delicate pastries lingered in the air, filling the senses of every patron. The soft hum of quiet conversations drifted through the space, a soundtrack to the opulence. Ibrahim Traoré sat alone at a small table tucked in a corner, his figure an anomaly in the sea of affluent guests. While everyone around him spoke in clipped tones, exchanging pleasantries and plans, he remained silent, consumed by a mix of thoughts. He wasn't just any man in this room. He was the man whose vision had turned Burkina Faso into a nation that refused to bow. Yet, here, in the heart of the city of lights, his eyes seemed distant, lost in something far greater than politics or fame. Beneath the elegance of his demeanor, a deep sadness lingered. A country torn by conflict, people broken by years of oppression, and the brutal weight of leadership pressed against him. His hands trembled slightly as he reached for his glass of water, the remnants of a life half-lived still echoing in his soul. But tonight, his escape was supposed to be simple. Dinner, and perhaps a fleeting moment of peace. Conflict or challenge. Introduced. The waiter, a young man with sharp eyes and a quick tongue, approached Ibrahim's table with confidence. His steps were measured, the white uniform immaculate, but his attitude, haughty and dismissive, betrayed a world far removed from the man before him. The waiter had no idea who Ibrahim was. "Can I get you anything else, sir?" he asked, the tone suggestive, almost mocking. Ibrahim, ever the silent observer, simply shook his head, his voice as gentle as a summer breeze. "No, thank you." But the waiter, irritated by what he perceived as the man's aloofness, leaned in, his words laced with thinly veiled scorn. "You know, this place was never meant for people like you," he muttered, loud enough for Ibrahim to hear. The insult hung in the air like a dark cloud, its sting sharp and unwarranted. The patrons nearby noticed the interaction but remained silent, too afraid of the young waiter's energy to speak out. Ibrahim's gaze lingered for a moment on the waiter's face, his expression calm, but his eyes telling a different story. One of recognition and control. Midpoint revelation or twist. As the waiter turned on his heel, Ibrahim allowed himself a brief moment of reflection. He had encountered people like this before, those who judged without knowing, who looked at him and saw only the surface, never realizing the depths beneath. But tonight, there was something different, something he knew was about to unfold. The waiter went back to the kitchen, unaware that the man he had just insulted was the very owner of the restaurant. Ibrahim had built this place, not from wealth or privilege, but from resilience and quiet determination. This was his space, his sanctuary, one he had fought for in a way few could understand. He had risen from the ashes of war and revolution to craft a life where he could finally, for a moment, be free of the weight of his nation's expectations. The waiter had no idea that the restaurant he so arrogantly served in was Ibrahim's vision. He didn't know that the man before him was the one who had given countless people jobs, a place to eat, a moment to feel dignified. Ibrahim's silence wasn't a surrender. It was a choice, a quiet demonstration of strength. The waiter would soon learn that respect wasn't something given, it was something earned, and this night would be his lesson. Climax. Emotional breakthrough. It didn't take long before the manager, noticing the tension in the air, walked over to Ibrahim's table. "Mr. Traoré," he said, his voice a mixture of respect and nervousness. "Yes?" Ibrahim replied, his voice steady, unwavering. "There's a situation with one of the staff members. It seems he has made an inappropriate comment to you." Ibrahim met the manager's gaze. The tension in the air shifted as the entire restaurant seemed to hold its breath. There, in the corner, the waiter stood, his arrogance draining from him, in the face of the truth. "I'm not concerned with his comment," Ibrahim said softly but with a quiet strength. "But I think it's important he learns what respect truly means." The manager, visibly uncomfortable, nodded in acknowledgement. "Of course, sir. I will take care of it." But Ibrahim stopped him with a raised hand. "No need for punishment," he said, his tone calm but unwavering. "A lesson will be enough." The room, once buzzing with conversation, fell into a heavy silence. The waiter, now standing at the edge of the room, met Ibrahim's gaze. His arrogance had melted away, replaced by a growing realization of his own mistake. "You see?" Ibrahim began, his voice carrying over the room like a soft wind. "We are all judged by the choices we make, by the way we treat others. You think this place is a symbol of wealth and power, but in reality, it's a symbol of resilience and unity. It wasn't built with disdain for others. It was built with respect for those who dare to dream." The waiter, his face flushed with embarrassment, nodded slowly, a silent acknowledgement that he had been wrong. Resolution and quiet closure. The tension eased. The moment passed, but the lesson lingered. As the evening wound to a close, Ibrahim rose from his seat. He didn't need to make a grand gesture, didn't need to raise his voice or demand attention. His presence alone was enough. Walking toward the exit, he passed the waiter. This time their eyes met, not with judgment, but with mutual understanding, a shared, quiet respect. Outside, the night air was cool against Ibrahim's skin. The sun shimmered in the distance, and for the first time in a long while, he felt at peace. Call to action for YouTube. If this story touched your heart, consider subscribing for more inspiring tales of hope, healing, and unexpected kindness. Hit the like button and share this with someone who needs it today.